Hi there, and welcome back to another Dev Diary. Number 73 is out. The Capek update. Later to who is Capek, who made his name as a sci-fi author. Definitely something like inventing robots. So he's a great guy, but this is not about robots, surprisingly. So 1.7.2 update is out. 1.8 is coming. Main changes are improvements to habitability and terraforming coming. So habitability is changing. How is it changing? It's no longer a cap to happiness, it's a modifier to happiness. It is working as you have, like, for each 10 points of habitability below 100%, the happiness is reduced by 2.5%. So at base 20% habitability, a pop would get minus 20% to their happiness. And why at the base 20% habitability? Because habitability at which pops can live on a planet was reduced from 40 to 20%, meaning by default most species will be able to colonize most habitable worlds in the galaxy from the very start, but it might not be advisable to do so, because the changes to happiness, as you can see here, might lead to a lot of unrest, especially at the start when you have not many happiness modifiers. You might have a problem on your hand. You might have independent planets. The AI might have problems with that. They might have, pops going independent all the time. We'll see about that. I mean, probably on normal that might be a problem. Maybe on the higher difficulties not that much, but there might be funny things coming for you and for the AI. But on the other hand, if you could have good happiness and good habitability, then you can colonize all you want, basically. So from the calculable standpoint, they claim that they have reduced the base numbers. Oh yeah, they have cut the base number of habitable worlds in the galaxy in half additionally to that, but you still have the modifier, so you can, like, when you create a galaxy, you can modify that to 2 times, and then it's back as it was before. So for those that prefer to play with more or fewer habitable worlds, there's still the habitable worlds slider in the galaxy setup as before. Overall, the changes should result in habitable worlds and terraforming candidates feeling like more significant finds in the early game, and contribute to mid and late game friction as empires run out of worlds to colonize inside their borders. Yeah, this might have been a problem. I mean, I was quickly, with my tactics, my strategies, I was quickly usually settling on every planet there was in a very short time, and I was absolutely never finding terraforming candidates. So I don't know. Let's see. But there's other changes too. Planetary deposits. So along with the change to habitability, they have also changed the way resource deposits are generated on habitable worlds. So rather than all habitable worlds having the exact same chance to generate the different kind of resource deposits, we have now broken it up a bit by climate as follows, which means in turn, if you choose your home planet, you might choose a strategy along with it. So wet climate, continental, ocean, tropical, more likely to generate food and society research. Frozen climate, Arctic, tundra, alpine, more likely to generate mineral and engineering research deposits. So that might be like the military part, that might be the society part, generally, growth part. And dry climate is the research part, like energy and physics research deposits. So this is robots, desert, arid, savanna. Gaia planets are more likely to generate mixed deposits and strategic resources. What you can see here on Pristine Jewel, there is the strategic resources Xenopets here, and also Betharian. This doesn't mean that you will only find those types of deposits on such planets, it simply means they are more likely to be found there. So, and there's also a modifier here. So, and with the modifiers, there's also a change. They're now also shown in the expansion planner, which is pretty helpful, I'd say. And also, actually in the expansion planner are your terraforming candidates. Like this. So you don't have to look again and again and again where that terraforming candidate you once found is now. Because you forgot. So you don't have to use more bookkeeping. It's done for you, which is pretty great. So, a concept called significant planetary modifiers. This is something they've introduced. That can be set on any planetary modifier and will result in that planet appearing in the expansion planner even if not a habitable planet class. For now, the only significant modifier is the terraforming candidates, so you should no longer find a terraforming candidate only to forget which system it is located in, but we expect to make more use of this functionality in the future. As you can see here, they've also shown you modifiers like the storms, like increasing your physics research. So that is also shown. I hope it is shown still, because it's significant for me. So, then they also spent some time cleaning up the terraforming interface in general. It looks much better now. Hiding the button for planets where it is never applicable, as it was randomly, such as non-terraforming candidate barren worlds, and improving the sorting and style of the actual terraforming window. You don't have to scroll down anymore. It's all there on one screen. It's so good. Even with the planets, look at that. How beautiful, how thought out. I love improvements like that. It makes the game really so much better to have a good UI. So, we have that Mars here again, and he's a terraforming candidate, of course. You see that with a modifier now, as you can see here and here, even with 0% habitability. And yeah, he'll pop up there. I think that's very, very cool. And now we'll go back and I'll show you a little bit of Carol Capek. Wait. That's the German Wikipedia. I suppose you want to see the English one, as I'm talking in English. Yeah, so he made a lot of, like, he was a journalist and he was an author, and he's best known for his science fiction. He was a writer in general, but he made some like dramas, and these were like the science fiction dramas. Rossum's Universal Robots, that was the drama which introduced the word robot. So pretty good. And also another thing about like battling an alien race of amphibians. So if you're interested in that, he was still in Austria-Hungary, so old, but he's already died, of course, but only aged 48. So his life was probably also a drama, maybe ended by the by the Second World War prologue. I don't know. So the death is just before the Second World War, he contracted a common cold, and because he was a heavy smoker and had some probably lung disease, he died of pneumonia just before the Second World War broke out. My God. And surprisingly, the Gestapo was not aware of his death. Several months later, the German invasion Nazi agents came to the Capek family house in Prague to arrest him. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You're always talking about Germans being so neat and all. But that's only the Germans of today, like the Nazis weren't as correct. Otherwise they wouldn't have made such a batshit crazy politics and all. They were not right in the head. We can say that. We can say that with firmity. I'm pretty convinced that Hitler and all these guys were not right in the head. Like, you can also become infected with not being right in the head. So be careful if there is some kind of charismatic leader around that spews out strange things. Over the course of time, you get used to that stuff and you might be infected in your brain. I'm not talking about anyone specifically. You know that. Also, let's get back to Stellaris. Whoop. What do you think of these changes? I think they are very, very good changes. Why do I think that? Because like that cap of the habitability was really crippling for some kinds of populations, and it was like opening the way for people who took like very adaptable and then later transformed themselves into robots. They would have half the galaxy before anyone else would even move. Yeah, that was one of these tactics, strategies, however you'd call it, that I liked to apply in my private games and that were running really, really well. So there's that. So what do you think about the new changes? That is what I'd like to hear. I think they're overall pretty good. They are complicating things a bit because of more modifiers. That always complicates things in my book. More distinctive things happening, but you can develop better strategies, like all in all. What I'd like to have too is probably maybe not unveiling the full planet before you actually settle on it, because there's so much that you could only discover underground. I mean, I know the future scanners are said to be superior and all, but that would be really interesting. It would be like a little bit of randomness added, which will of course counter that, right? But it would make it more. It will make it even more important to have such a knowledge that wet climate is more likely to generate food in society. So, that said, thank you for watching. I really think this is going to be a good patch. Next week they will be talking about genetic modification changes, which interests me as well, because I've always liked to play with genetic modification, heavy genetic modification, like that was to create the super happy super humans or super toads or super mules or super birds, whatever. That is pretty exciting, I think. So let's see how that is going to be changed. 1.8 seems to be an update that is also about fixing things. They haven't mentioned yet some kind of expansion for 1.8, and if it's coming relatively quickly, there won't be one, I think, because of what happened with 1.6. But it is entirely possible that they'll add some kind of species pack or something for like €5 or something that is being released along with a patch. That would be definitely possible. So if you're interested in more news updates about Stellaris, I'm regularly doing these when the dev diaries come out, and get any news about Stellaris, I try to make it as quickly as possible and as thoroughly as possible. So if you're interested in that, you can just subscribe. That is coming up at the end or like in the lower right corner. If you're interested in the playlist of all the changes, that's in the upper right corner. There's an eye and there is like a card that leads you there. I've also linked the current Let's Play that is going in a very late stage, Meeting the Brethren. That is also in the cards in the upper right corner. So that said, thank you for watching, happy gaming to you, and see you in one of the next videos. Have a good time until then.